Some small studies in my sketchbook with gouache. This is the first part in an ongoing sketchbook series I'll have on the channel. Basically, it has anything to do with working in my sketchbooks, whether that's gouache, oils, doing studies or anatomy work, anything along those lines. I think they're good videos for discussing certain topics as well. If you have any in mind you want my opinion on, let me know. I thought it'd be fitting for today to talk more about sketchbooks. It's such a broad topic, but I wanted to just give my opinion on what sketchbooks are to me. I feel like every artist can relate to this, but I see people all the time creating gorgeous works of art in their sketchbooks, where the layout is very carefully planned and the book itself becomes an entire piece of artwork. I get envious at times because my sketchbooks don't look as aesthetically pleasing as theirs, and honestly, it looks like quite a mess. Throughout the years, I've come to realize that's perfectly fine. A sketchbook isn't meant to be used in one specific way, and it's very personal to each individual. My way of sketching and using a sketchbook will be completely different to how someone else uses it, or even how you use it. It's important to remember that it's a space for you to do whatever you want. If that means making every page beautiful, go for it. For me, it's a bit different. I have multiple sketchbooks, and each serves a different purpose. The one you see I'm working in now is made with handmade watercolor paper and was bound by a seller on Etsy, who I'll link below. I had some scrap leather left over from previous sketchbooks and made a cover for this book. In any case, I use this for watercolor and gouache. I've done some thumbnails and painted some rough ideas in it, and today I'm doing some landscape studies. I don't paint landscapes often, and I wanted to practice more with gouache before I moved on to oils, so that's what you see here. They're pretty rough, but that's the point of them being in a sketchbook. The others I have also serve different purposes. I have one that doesn't have the greatest paper, especially for wet media, but is perfect for just getting my ideas down for future paintings. I'll do thumbnails, write some notes beside it, maybe do a quick color study, and sometimes I'll just draw random things. Again, it's not beautiful, but rather a space where I can plan before I paint. There are others I have which are more novelty, and some strictly for anatomy studies. I work in a variety of sizes too. The majority of my sketchbooks are roughly in this 4x6 size, but I have larger ones as well. I tend to like smaller sizes because it's less daunting to draw in, seeing as starting a new sketchbook always seems scary, which is another point I wanted to touch on. There always seems some restraint or fear of starting a new sketchbook, especially one that is particularly nice or expensive, I get a bit nervous too sometimes when opening a new sketchbook for the very first time, and there's a couple ways to deal with this. First, you could purchase a cheaper sketchbook. If you don't intend to use heavy washes of watercolor or wet media, then it's perfectly fine buying a cheaper sketchbook just to get your ideas down. You'll feel less concerned about messing up if the sketchbook isn't that precious to you or you spent a lot of money on it. Okay, but what if you bought a quality sketchbook and you want to use wet media in it, or do some refined sketches, or even use alcohol markers in it? What then? Well, you could start in the back of the book, or a random page that's not the first. If you start in the back of the book, you won't feel as daunted because it's never the first page anyone sees. You can test out the paper and see what techniques you like the best. Once you're comfortable with the sketchbook, you can begin in the front with that experience in mind. I think the most important thing to remember is that in general, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Whatever art you create in a sketchbook, good or bad, it's all practice, and the mistakes you make in here will help you for future pieces. Use your sketchbook. Make lots of mistakes. Experiment with different styles and mediums and techniques. It should be a place you feel comfortable in. If you draw a lot and use your sketchbook, your finished works will be much stronger because of it, I can guarantee you. Don't feel it has to be perfect or beautiful. Don't feel bad if your pages look ugly, and especially don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has their own process and point in their artistic journey, and it's completely different from yours. If you compare yourself to others, you only hold yourself back from learning and creating the art you want to make. Just do whatever you feel the most comfortable doing, and that's enough. Anyways, those are my thoughts on having and working in a sketchbook. I think it's nice talking about subjects like this and opening it up for more conversation in the comments. I definitely want to do more like this in the future as well. I want to talk about these studies quickly before I go. As I said before, I want to practice landscapes. I want to go for a more minimalistic approach and focus on the composition and colors of the piece, but I got a bit carried away in the details from some of them. I'm using the Himi Miya gouache set, which I have linked in the description. They're student grade gouache, but the pigment and opacity is really great, so I was surprised when I first used them. I know they've gotten a lot of attention in the past, and I definitely think they're worth it. The price is not bad at all considering their quality, and they're super smooth to work with. I found that once the little cups of gouache dry out, you can spray them with water and let them soak for a day or two. Then you can mix them and they'll be back to their smooth, soft consistency. Well, that's about all I have for today though. Let me know if you like these more chatty videos where I'm discussing a certain topic, and if there are any other topics you have in mind for future sketchbook videos. I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time.